Hello and welcome. If you are an Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising, we are going to be taking a look at your upcoming month of May and what you have to look forward to. If you are new here, welcome. This is Tree Cat Tarot and I am Tree Cats. I do monthly zodiac reads, and soon I used to try to do the pick of cards and I didn't connect well doing those. So what I'm actually going to start doing very soon is actually doing a daily what do you need to know. I'm not going to say the exact date that I plan on doing those, but I have done them on other platforms such as TikTok and Instagram, and I've had success with that medium of connecting. So I'm going to bring it here where we can make much longer form videos. And it's going to be a good time, and I'm happy to share that with you. But for today, we are going to be taking a look at your month of May. Again, if you are an Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Why is that backwards? Interesting. If you're an Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising, then this video is for you. We are going to, I'm going to shuffle some oracle cards for you. And then we're going to take a look at the oracle cards, your general overview of May, as well as specifically your love and relationships, career and finances, and health and spirituality. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get shuffling for you. Month of May for Aries, please. Okay. I'm going to set that over here for the moment. I'm gonna get, for this one, I'm going to try for 3 cards. And for this one, I want to try for 2, which is not what we normally do with this stack, but that's what I feel like doing. So, month of May for Aries, please, Spirit. Okay. Month of May for Aries. We'll pick that up in a second. Okay, you're getting 4. So that's all right. Ah! You know what? Because of where that landed, you're getting 5. Don't tell the other signs. All right, and finally, this one. And I'm going to put in the description box the decks that I'm using. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get into those. All right, Aries, so for you, we have Basil with reconciliation. We have friend zone, worried, needs direction, creative, Aquarius. So an Aquarius could be important at this time. We also have lilies and house. All right. 30 and 4 may be important numbers for you at this time. There's a lot of green here. Between the lilies and the basil, there's a lot of green here. There's also, I can't visually tell the difference between frogs and toads, so don't come at me. But there are, I want to say frogs on this card. And then also on this card as well. So frogs or toads could be a symbol for you at this time, a spirit animal. You might want to look into the meaning of frogs and toads. I think those are pine nuts here. Maybe you need to eat some pesto. You need to eat some pesto in May, Aries. That's all you need to know. Reading's done. Not really, but So lilies is usually when we're in a place of contentment. We're in a place of contentment. We're in a place of peace, which I think is really interesting because we have worried over here. It needs direction. House is also it is what it says. Like, it's talking about domestication, our dwelling, our home. For some of you, like, you could be having a 4-month if you're into numerology. There are ways to calculate like what kind of month you're having, but if you're having a 4-month, 4-month is when we need to be paying attention to like things that are routine and mundane. So our house, you could have Aquarius in the 4th house, which is literally about the home, roots, what have you. Or you could also have Aquarius in the 6th house, which is about daily routines, the mundane, work, what have you. But let's go ahead and get into your tarot. I'm also just feeling like I'm seeing a lot of like circular and oval shapes. I don't know if that's important to one of you in particular. We'll go ahead and just take these. I don't like them right there. It's always fun figuring out how I want to do this. We'll put them right there for now. Okay. So for your general overview of May Aries, we have card number 12, Suspension, or the Hanged One. That is Pisces energy. We have the Knight of Pentacles in the uphand, and we have the Page of Swords in the reverse. I'm sorry, I'm getting super distracted by, in the month of May, you might find silence to be very unnerving. That's a thing that I'm getting specifically. You might find silence very unnerving in the month of May. I also keeps looking at needs direction, and I keep expecting it to say needs distraction, even though I know that's not what it says. So maybe like May is a month where you're going to be like constantly very hustle and bustle. And it's not necessarily because you're actually trying to get anything done. I feel like it's because you're actually trying to keep busy more than anything else. You could become housebound for some reason in the month of May. But we'll get more on that in just a bit. So with the Hangman coming out next to the Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Swords in the reverse, you're coming out of a period of being in wait and wondering when something is going to happen. And there is stuff happening in May, but it's going about very slowly. I feel like the month of May is going to really drag on for you, or whatever it is that you're working on in May is going to really drag on. By the end of May, I see you just kind of, I don't know how else to say it, so I'm just going to say it. Being so desperate for interaction that you might create a little bit of chaos just to have human interaction. Like, it's the vibe of possibly participating in gossip, which you would normally not participate in, and doing it strictly so you have an excuse to talk to people and interact with people, or letting yourself get pulled into things strictly so you can interact with other people. There's something about May where you are being asked to be in your house, to be still, and you're kind of just having none of it. which does kind of sound like Aries, right? Like you don't really like being still. You don't really like not having anything to do or anything to run towards. Aries is the child of the zodiac. And it's a little funny because when you got the 5th card, I was thinking about how Aries is the child of the zodiac, and I was thinking to myself, well, you know, we'll spoil the child a little bit. That's fine. You might really be leaning into the shadow aspect of what that means for your sign. So in May, you could find yourself being more impatient than normal. You could find yourself being a bit more prone to losing your temper than normal. And it's just because you're being asked to stand still. You're just being asked to stand still for a second, but you're taking it as the universe asking you to sit in the corner. And that's not quite what's happening, but it's what it feels like to you in the month of May. So let's go ahead and for some of you, it could have to do with a romantic connection, because we do have reconciliation here, but we also have friend zone and worried. So it could have to do with a romantic connection that just has you going nuts. Especially if there is someone that you potentially could reconnect with that's an Aquarius or has an Aquarius energy. That would be a strong possibility. Let's go ahead and take a look specifically at your 11 relationships just to see what we have. Okay, so we have transformation in the reverse. That's card number 13. That's Scorpio energy. The 12th and the 13th could also be important. And then we have the 3 of Pentacles. So in your 11 relationships, we have the 3 of Pentacles coming out with death in the reverse. The death in the reverse is when we're kind of like refusing a change, refusing to transform. And typically it's a transformation within ourselves that we are refusing to make. And that kind of makes sense with how Spirit is making something come to a standstill, and you're just fighting against it wanting to move forward, and Spirit's not letting it move forward. Because we have the 3 of Pentacles here, I want to say that this, for some of you, is going to be a business partnership rather than a romantic relationship that we're talking about here. There's a change that you need to make. There's something about the current self that you cannot take with you into whatever life has for you next, especially if it is some kind of business partnership. There's a change you need to make, and either you are refusing to see what the change is, or you're refusing to make it, or you are making it, but it's happening very, very slowly. So I feel like for some of you, it's difficulty being a team player. It's a difficulty being a team player. You're so used to being independent. You're so used to doing everything the way you want to do it, that, you know, it can be hard if that's what you're used to, letting go of control in order to let another person actually be your equal, whether that be in partnership, in business, or in love. For some of you, it is going to be love, because again, we have friend zone here. For some of you, it could be that you are being friend zoned because you're not willing to put down the hyper independence. And for others of you, it's because you are unwilling to stop being hyper independent, that you're friend zoning someone who's trying to come in legit and be your equal. And you're like, nah, I've done this with you already. Whatever version of what I'm talking about feels right to you, resonates with you, that's going to be the version of events that fits. Always take what resonates. Never ever try to crapshoot something. Crapshoot something. crap fit something. Never ever, Jesus, never ever try to crap fit something. And we have the Lovers on the bottom. I don't normally look at the bottom of the deck during these reads, but I happened to turn it over, and yeah, there's a refusal here to allow something to come in with another person, and it's because you're having a hard time letting go of that hyper independence. You could even be self-sabotaging in May, creating drama where drama doesn't actually exist, or creating mistrust where mistrust doesn't actually exist. And it's simply because it's so much easier to decide that things are not going to work out because XYZ than letting yourself go through the pain of letting yourself trust somebody, letting your hopes get high, and then they come crashing down because perhaps you were wrong. And that's super indicative here, actually, with the green. That's super indicative of needing to deal with something within your heart chakra. Green is the heart chakra. The heart chakra is needing to learn how to love and let love in. And it is often much easier to love people from a distance than it is to be vulnerable and allow them in. So that's what I see for your love and relationships. It could also be because this story right here, this is the Frog Prince. So you could very well have had like repeated instances in which you kiss a prince, he turns out to be a frog, or you kiss a frog and, well, damn it, he's still a frog. And so you're kind of just like, well, it doesn't matter. Like, no matter which one I kiss, it's going to be a frog anyway. And there is a need to step out of that mindset. That mindset is holding you back. That mindset is keeping you from something that you actually want very, very badly. Because if you didn't want it so badly, why would you resist it so much? If you didn't want it so badly, why would you be so afraid of getting hurt by it? So, with that being said, we're going to move on to your career and finances. And for those of you where this is a business partnership, we're going to get a little bit more on that. So this will be fun. And probably more on whatever this creative card is referring to. A need to be more creative, or you might find yourself being more creative. You might find your mind being creative, just trying to busy itself. Just make sure that it's constructive creativity, not destructive creativity. Okay, we have the Knight of Wands here. And we have the Chariot coming out with the Page of Wands in the reverse. The Chariot is card number 7. This is Cancer energy. I feel like for most of you, like 8 out of 10 of you, we're not talking about a romantic relationship, we're talking about a business partnership. And I say that because we have the Knight and the Page of Wands both coming out in the career and business portion. There is forward movement, right? There's forward movement, but it's very interesting the way this card is depicted. She is reaching in this direction, in that direction, but the tide is taking her this way. I feel like whatever forward movement you are having in business, you are resisting it. You are resisting it quite a bit. And again, I think it's because, like, either you don't want to partner with the person who comes towards you, or there's a lot of disagreements about the way in which to go about things. I feel like it's disagreements about your own creative choices as to how to run this business or what you're creating or how it's going to work. With the Knight of Wands in the uphand, sorry. With the Knight of Wands in the uphand, this is someone who is a bit more impulsive. This is someone who's going to struggle a little bit with committing to a thing or a project. With the Page of Wands in the reverse, I feel like it's a small lack of inspiration. But her coming out with the Knight of Wands does make me feel like the lack of inspiration. I don't think it's so much lack of inspiration as it's, there's so many ideas, there's so many neurons firing off that you're almost overwhelming yourself. Or maybe it's like, I'm getting that scene, if you've ever watched House, I'm getting that scene, and the scene like reoccurred a lot throughout the show, where he's like he's sitting up against a wall and he's staring at his whiteboard, like just full of notes and ideas and clues about what's going on with the patient and trying to figure out the diagnosis, the exact diagnosis. And he's just like throwing his tennis ball against the whiteboard, letting it bounce, come back to him. And it's this weird meditative thing, but at the same time, it reminds me of you hitting your head against a wall without actually physically hitting your head against a wall. It's like you're staring at something, waiting for something to occur to you. It's going in front of the fridge and hoping that the right meal will just scream its name at you. Stop trying to force the creativity to come, Aries. It doesn't come when you are being very, very forceful. Being forceful with creativity. Creativity is feminine energy. Okay? Even if you are creating for the sake of making money, you have to trick your brain into believing you are creating for the sake of creating. That you are creating for the sake of the love of whatever it is. Because if creativity is the gift of the feminine, she can only create when she is at rest and when she is playing. When you are thinking too hard about it, when you are like up really late trying to get it to happen, it's not going to happen. Go for a walk. Take a nap. Spend time with people you love. Distract yourself with something you love. Let the mind be open for other things to come in. You have to allow the subconscious to rest a little bit so it can play with everything that's going on around you. And the next thing you know, you're going to have an idea. You're going to have a solution to whatever the problem is. I feel like for many of you where there is a business partner of sorts or a coworker and you have to do a creative project, or if you're in school, you're doing a project there with another person. If you were butting heads with this person, I feel like the butting heads that's occurring in your external reality is simply reflecting what's going on in your internal reality. And if that is the case and that sounds correct to you, you need to sit with yourself and figure out what it is inside yourself you are in conflict about. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take it to your health and spirituality and see what we have there for you. Okay. We have the Eight of Wands in the reverse. Yeah, that's stagnation, slow movements. And we have the Nine of Pentacles. So in terms of health and spirituality, I'm going to take this more in terms of no news is good news. Nine of Pentacles is self-sufficiency. And the Eight of Wands is when nothing is happening. So the way I'm seeing this is there is, like, your health is good. It's not changing in any way, but it's good. It's fine. It's maintaining itself. Again, spirituality, yeah, you might need to take some, like, internal looks. Sit with yourself a second. Stop driving yourself crazy. But there's nothing major happening. No one's having a crisis. No one is having a breakdown. You're not going through turmoil. Nothing like that. You just need to learn to chill a little bit harder this month. You need to learn to let things come to you, including your own creativity. Okay? So that is all I have for you, Aries. Thank you for coming to your reading. I hope it was helpful to you. And go ahead and check out the other readings. I'm going to be releasing them over the course of the last few days of April. I know we're cutting it really close. That's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And also, if you need a little bit more guidance, either right now or sometime in the future, it doesn't have to be related to anything we talked about here. I'm going to have the link for the link down below in the description box where you can schedule an appointment with me to have a personal reading about whatever you feel like you need guidance on. Okay, so that is all I have for you. Be good, be safe, and love and light to you. Bye.